Well, here we are, Easter Sunday, the greatest day in history. Death defeated, sin beaten, the grave could not hold him. And Jesus is alive. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. You know, after the agony of the Garden of Gethsemane and the events of Good Friday, it's good to be able to arrive at Easter Sunday knowing that Jesus and the victory of God are truly complete. And I just want to spend a very few minutes with you just reflecting on the experience of those who encountered the risen Jesus first of all. There was Mary, who experienced the love of Christ. She was standing outside the tomb, the stone was rolled away and the tomb was empty, and she was crying, "Where have they taken my Lord?" And Jesus, the risen Jesus, comes to her and he asks her why she's crying, and he talks to her with such love and compassion that her sadness is dispelled and her joy and wonder are rekindled. And you know, that can be our experience as well. If we will encounter the risen Jesus Christ, our sadness can be dispelled, even in the midst of the hardships of life, and he can replace that sadness with a joy that only God can give. Somebody else who experienced the risen Christ was John, and John experiences the light of Christ. When he gets there to the tomb and he kind of pushes his way in with a sense of doubt and expectation, I expect, when he will finally see, there are three different words in the account used for seeing, and the one that perhaps tells us the most is the word that literally means he understood. The light went on, he saw and he believed. And you know, if we will keep searching for the risen Christ, we will find him. He will meet with us, and the light, I believe, will go on. And it's a light that dispels darkness, brings clarity, brings purpose, and brings, of course, a life-changing relationship with the risen Saviour. Peter is an interesting character because, of course, Peter had said to Jesus, "I will follow you to the very end. I will never, never forsake you. I won't deny you." And Jesus said, "Yeah, you will. You'll deny me 3 times before the cock crows." And of course, Peter did, and he was bitterly ashamed. You know, when he denied Jesus, he actually cursed Jesus as well, because he was terrified that he'd be found out that he was a follower of Jesus. So yeah, in his fear, he curses Jesus and denies him. But Jesus lovingly meets him when he's risen, and he restores him and he forgives him and he sets him on his way again. And of course, Peter goes on to become one of the great heroes of the Christian faith. And that's again our experience. If we will seek the risen Christ, we will find forgiveness and restoration and healing, and we'll be set off on a new path with joy in the journey. The final person I want you to think about is Thomas, who experiences the blessings of Jesus. When Jesus appears to the disciples, Thomas isn't there the first time, but he is there the second time, and he says, "Well, I'm not going to believe that you are who you say you are unless I can see the wounds, the nail marks, and unless I can actually touch them." He actually says, "I want to put my finger into your side where the spear pierced it. Otherwise, no, sorry, I won't believe." Hence the reason we call him Doubting Thomas. Well, he does see, and then he too understands. The light goes on, and he falls at Jesus' knees and says, "My Lord and my Saviour." And Jesus says something very interesting to him. He goes, "Blessed are you, for you have seen and believed." So he is blessed by this encounter. He gets a blessing from God. But Jesus goes on to say, even more blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. And that's you and I, friends. We will get an even greater blessing if we come to believe in Jesus Christ as our risen Saviour. I really hope and I pray that you will seek him, and that will happen for you. Have a great Easter. God bless you. And I'll leave you with this.